And let me go to one of Bangalore's most respected citizens. I'm joined by Kiran Mazumdar Shaw. Biocon, appreciate your joining us, ma'am, on the countdown. Give me a sense. I think I've asked you this question once in the past as well. What is it about your city, particularly about the urban upper class elite, that prevents them from going to the polls? North Bangalore, Central Bangalore, better voting than South. It seems like in Mumbai, the richer you are, the less likely you are to go to vote. Well, what is it about Bangalore, ma'am?
Well, first and foremost, I am so disappointed because despite a huge effort from various organizations, including BPAC, including writing letters to various corporates, to all the employees to say, please go and vote, we have a pathetic performance. Now, the way I look at it is in two ways. One is, first and foremost, are we looking at the right registries? Because I also feel that because Bengaluru is such a migrant city, is the voter registry really depicting the people who actually live here? Or are we actually not including those, or are we looking at people who have actually left the city and they're still on the voting register? So that's one thing really the election commissioner has to look into in a very serious way. This time people who wanted to vote couldn't vote, and those who perhaps don't want to vote, or who don't even need to vote, maybe their names are there. I'm not very sure on that account. But having said that, I think this also reflects on the apathy of people at large. I think most older generation people do vote. I think it's the youth who have to vote, and as someone just commented, maybe they feel that, what difference, whoever comes is going to be the same. And that's a very poor reflection on our polity. And I think that is definitely something that needs to be answered by all the politicians.
Is it a reflection really on also particularly what's happened in Karnataka, a state where assembly elections less than a year ago, you had an alliance being formed after the elections, two parties which fought each other, then joined hands. Is that a sense that Bangaloreans therefore feel that the politicians, the political class of Bangalore doesn't measure up to the quality of the citizenry? You've got wonderful citizenry, lots of NGOs, social activists, but your politics has kept a step behind the people. They don't trust their politicians anymore.
But yeah, so Rajdeep, I think you will see this as a sort of an urban phenomenon where a lot of urban cities in India have a much poorer turnout than rural, India. And I think that's something that we really need to look into. Why is it that the educated, voters in this country don't do their bit? Why do they shun voting? Why do they shun their responsibility? We have to find out what is this strange behavior that we are displaying in a country like India. First and foremost, I think we must also ask ourselves a question this time, saying, how do we vote? Who are these, MPs who are voted into the office, and how do we hold them accountable? I think most of the MPs in our country who get elected, who get voted, I think have shunned their responsibilities. I know that many people say that they are not accessible. Many people say that once they win the election, they are not to be seen. Many people say that we can't hold anybody accountable. I think we have a problem because I think this is a time when I think citizens have to hold all our politicians highly accountable.
But the question is and I think you gave the answer earlier as well. There's a sense that, in these urban metropolises, people have decided to do their own thing. They say we don't trust the government. If there is, if we have to get our park in, ship shape, we'll do it ourselves. If we have to get the drainage system worked out, we'll do it ourselves. Let's not trust those who are in power. Do you get a sense that there are parts of Bangalore, indeed of our cities, where people are seceding? They're saying enough of politics, we will handle life on our own. Do you believe that's the trend, and is that a healthy trend?
Well, in a certain way, what you're saying, Rajdeep, is a kind of feeling that's creeping into citizens today across urban centers. I think our MLAs are failing us, MPs are also failing us in certain ways. But having said that, I think the way forward has to be much more responsible politics, much more engagement with citizens. And I think we have to understand that urban centers are the economic growth engines of the country. And there has to be a good political connect with what's happening, and how do we strengthen and even invest much more in these urban economic centers, because that is what this country needs.
Right.
We need that growth momentum. We need to improve the quality of life index in these urban centers. And I think every politician who is elected has to basically do his or her bit.
Let me ask you this, ma'am, in conclusion. There was, of course, it's been a long weekend, Mahavir Jayanti yesterday, tomorrow is Good Friday. And there's one person from Bangalore told me the queues are too long. He entered the queue at 8, got to vote at 10:30. I'm not wasting 3 hours of a long weekend. I've gone off to Coorg. Is it that we've got to make sure that making it a working day and every office makes it clear? You'll probably get a bonus if you go and vote. We are going to have to incentivize Bangalore in some way, not have it on long weekends, and find a way in which we incentivize this. Maybe Biocon has to tell its employees, you go and vote, we'll give you a day off later in the month.
No, I think I've come to the conclusion that it's better not to declare a holiday. It's better to give time off to employees to go and vote, and make sure that those who take time off to go and vote have a mark on their fingers to show that they have voted. I think this is becoming quite unacceptable, because I myself wrote a personal letter to all my employees requesting them to definitely go and exercise their franchise. I don't know how many of them stayed in town. I know that I came back from overseas
Give them a bonus, ma'am.
Day before yesterday to make sure that I could vote today.
Give them a larger Diwali gift or a
Why
Dashera gift this year.
do you
Those
need
who
to pay
voted.
anyone a bonus? This is your, I'm sorry, Rajdeep, this is your duty, this is your responsibility. You don't need any bonus. The bonus is if you vote for change, and if you vote for what you believe in, and if you vote for the right politicians, you know, that's your bonus.
Sure.
Hold them accountable. Feel that you have voted for them. The trouble is people have not voted, and therefore they feel, how can we hold them accountable?
Well spoken. Kiran Mazumdar Shaw, it's your duty. You've got to go out and vote, and they should have voted in far greater numbers. I appreciate your joining us, ma'am, here on a day when Bangalore voted. Thanks very much for joining me on the countdown.